you should mainly stick to antagonist sets, drop sets, and rest pause sets, and save you plenty of time in the gym. When you go for a set of bench, you do the set, you wait 3 minutes, and then you go for another set. That's called straight sets, or the bread and butter of what everyone does in the gym. Whether you're a beginner or all the way to advanced, most people, for majority of their workout, use straight sets. And there are many reasons for this. The first one being it's very easy to quantify. For example, you do a set of bench, you wait, and then you do another set. There you go, that's 2 sets done. If you were to do lat raises and you're using 9 kilos for the lat raises, you did 1 set, you didn't rest at all, and you went straight and used the 8 kilo dumbbells to do another set of lat raises. So when you go from doing 1 set of lat raises and then you do another set without resting at all, would you really consider that 2 sets? And for straight sets, since you're giving the full time for your body to rest and your muscles to recover after the first set, you're able to use the same amount of weight, or you're able to use heavier weights compared to other methods like supersetting. And because you get to use heavier weights, you're able to induce more muscular tension because there's more weight that your muscles either have to actually push, row, lift, squat, whatever it needs, whatever is being done. Because you're using heavier weights, you're obviously going to get more gains. But the problem arises where not everyone has the time to allocate in the gym, where you get to do your full 3-minute rest or even up to 5 minutes. Or if you're like those power lifters who take a quick 10-minute nap between sets on the bench, then not everyone has the time to do that. And they don't also have the time to wait 1 to 2 full minutes between isolation exercises. Otherwise, you'd be basically renting the gym for the amount of time you spend in it. Now, when you're a beginner and you're first starting in the gym, you don't need to do as much volume. You can get away with doing fewer sets. And because of that, you should prioritize using straight sets. So that is waiting the full amount of time. But as you get more advanced, intermediate to advanced, you need to do more work. And just using straight sets is going to keep increasing the amount of time you have to spend in the gym. And so to counteract that, I've got 3 solutions for you guys to reduce the amount of time you spend in the gym, not compromising your gains. Taking the example that I first gave, when you're benching and you do a set of bench, everyone knows when you're going for the set of bench, you're using your pushing muscles. So your pulling muscles, well, they aren't really activated apart from arching your back, retracting your back, all of that, whatever. But you're not physically using it to bring the weight back down to your chest and pushing it off your chest. And so because of that, during the set of bench, your pulling muscles are inactive. If you were to do an exercise which required your pulling muscles, like a pull-up or a row, after you did a set of bench, then you're hitting 2 different muscle groups, where bench was all about pushing and the rows are now all about pulling. And when you're doing a set of rows, your pushing muscles, so your chest, your triceps, your front delts, they're being inactive. And in this way, going from an antagonist pair where you're pushing, waiting, and then pulling, you're able to recover much quicker. So to use this in your next workout, this is how you would have to structure it. Let's say it was an upper body day and you've got benching, then you've got pull-ups, and towards the end of the workout, you've also got bicep curls and tricep extensions. So I'm going to give examples for both, where one's compound related, so you've got your pull-ups and your bench, and the other one's the isolation, so you've got your bicep curls and tricep extensions. Now, at the beginning of the workout, you decide to do bench, and you've got 3 sets of bench and 3 sets of pull-ups. The standard way of doing it would be straight sets. So you warm up for your bench, do a set of bench, wait however long it takes for you to be recovered, usually that's 3 minutes or more. Then you do another set of bench, and then you do another set of bench, wait in between. And altogether, since there's 6 sets, that would be 6 rest times. 6 rest times multiplied by 3 is at least 18 minutes just wasted in rest times. Now, if you were to use the antagonist set strategy, that would mean you do a set of bench, and since you're not using your back muscles, you go do pull-ups after that. And since you're not using your pushing chest muscles, then you do a set of bench again, and then you do pull-ups, then you do bench again, then you do pull-ups. And because when you're doing your pushing exercise, your pulling muscles are recovering, your pulling muscles are resting, and when you're doing the pulling exercise, your pushing muscles are resting. This doesn't mean you go straight back to back to back where you have 0 rest time. You can take little rest times. So you do a set of bench only wait 2 minutes, and then you do a set of pull-ups, then you wait 2 minutes again, then do a set of bench. And in this way, the 2 minutes plus the next exercise almost acts like the 3 or 4 minute break that you get. You max have to spend 5 to 6 rest times at 2 minutes, which is only 10 minutes spent in rest. Much less compared to the 18 minutes you would have had to spend if you're doing the traditional style. And because when you're doing your pull-ups, your chest is actually going against the negative, there is some research to say that it'll boost recovery even more. So you might be more effective in doing the antagonist set compared to a straight set. You'd get more gains and increase your performance. When it comes to the isolation though, you do a set of bicep curls and you don't go directly to the tricep extensions, you wait 1 minute. So instead of waiting 2 minutes for the compounds, you only wait 1 minute, you go do your tricep exercise extensions at the cables, you know, feel that juicy pump, wait 1 minute again, and then do your bicep curls. And you can do that. And so for isolations, only 1 minute rest. In the end, you're able to save a lot of time. The only downside to this is you can't use it for full body exercises. So things like the squat and deadlift, you can't do a set of, for example, squat, and then you wait only 2 minutes and then do a set of deadlifts. Because when you do squats and deadlifts, recruiting a lot of the full body, even upper body musculature. So there's going to be some interference with that, and your performance is most likely going to go down because you're not recovering enough. But apart from the full body exercises like your deadlift and your squat, for all the antagonist pairs, like you can even use it for leg extension and leg curls, you'll be able to save a lot of time. The next one is drop sets. And this is when you're able to access a lot of weights very quickly. So you don't have to waste time changing weights. So you can't do this with adjustable dumbbells or with barbells. But if you have like a dumbbell rack, running the rack, that's Dwayne Johnson right there, running the rack, you can do something like that. And basically the way this works is, for example, you're doing lateral raises, which is the most common exercise used for this. You use whatever weight you wanted to use, so let's say 10 kilos, and then you do a set of lateral raises. Instead of waiting and then doing another set with the 10 kilos, you put the 10 kilos back immediately after you finish the set, pick up the 9 kilograms, which is less weight, or 8 kilograms, whatever you choose, and then do a set of that. And since the weight is lighter, you'll still be able to smash out reps, but because you're in a fatigued state, like your shoulders are already screaming, you can feel the agony and suffering even more. And then you do another set maybe with 6 kilos, and by the end you'll be so gassed and screaming, but the amount of gains that you get from that is incredible. Now before you go around doing this with all types of exercises, there are a few exceptions or a few downsides with this one as well. And the first one being, you can't use it on compound exercises, especially in the 5 to 10 rep range. There's no way you can do a set of squats for 8 reps, reduce the weight, and to do it for 7 reps, reduce the weight and do it for 6 reps, because the amount of fatigue that one set of squats brings is going to mean that you might do, let's say, 100 kilos for 8 reps. For 7 reps without any rest, you'll probably be able to only do 20. But since you're not going to be able to know that, you'll probably overestimate your cardio and your ability to recover. You probably put on 90 and think you can do it for 7, do 1 rep and injure yourself. That's why it's best used for isolation exercises. Another problem is though, if you were to do your first set with 20 kilos and then you decide immediately after I finish with the 20s, I'll pick up the 15s and I'll do a set with the 15. So if you think about it, your first set was 20, the second set, which is also your first drop set, you reduce the weight by 25%. So you drop the weight by 25% and you do 15 kilos. Now next week, that first set, which was 20, since you're progressive overloading, you do 22.5. Now, if you were to follow the same metric where you drop the weight by 25%, 25% less of 22.5 kilos is 16.9, somewhere around there. And there are no dumbbells which can go to that exact precise weight, which means you'd either have to use the 17.5s or stick with the 15s again. And that way your drops become very inconsistent and it's very hard to measure. That's why only using these for isolation exercises and only when you're out of time and for a couple exercises only per week is the best way to do this. And when you're tracking your sets, the first set you do normally, which is 1 set, and then each drop set after that, so let's say lateral raises, you do 1 normal set and then you do 3 drop sets. Those 3 drop sets, each set is considered 2/3 of a real set. So you got 3 drop sets, And since it's 2/3, 3 times 2 divided by 3 is 2 normal sets. So altogether you did 2 normal sets plus the initial first set, that's 3 altogether. The third strategy you can use are rest pause sets. And these are quite similar to straight sets or the traditional way of doing sets. But instead of waiting the full 2 minutes or 3 minutes, however much you wait, this is mainly for isolations. And I'll explain why rest pause sets and drop sets should mainly be used for isolations later on. When you do the rest pause set, instead of waiting 1 minute or 2 minutes after a set of calf raises, you wait only 30 seconds, much shorter rest times. And because of that, you already know that you're gonna get less reps, but that's okay. The purpose of waiting that little is that you still haven't gave your calves or whatever muscle group it is enough time to clear out that lactic acid. So you still have that burn and those metabolites accumulate in your calf. And because your calves are already burning, doing another set straight after, like only waiting 30 seconds, will just increase the burn and the blood that goes into your calves, and you just get the hugest pump ever until it explodes. No, but really, these are the best when you need it, when you really want to feel the pump in the muscles and the sensation of that mind-muscle connection. The best exercises to use these are on anything above the 10 rep range for isolations. So you can use them even for leg extensions, leg curls, calf raises, any isolation. So it can be some shoulder isolation, biceps, triceps, whatever it is, even chest flies, whatever your heart desires. And when you're quantifying the sets, like your drop sets, each set after the initial one is considered 2/3 of a normal straight set. Now you may ask about supersets or burner sets. How come I haven't mentioned any of those? Come in, I'll tell you a little secret. The thing is, you're gonna be dropping your gains. And unless you wanna be like everyone else and lose your gains, no, I'm just exaggerating, but you probably won't get the most effective workout if you do use those. And the reason being is, if you were to do compound exercise such as a squat, yes, I love the squat, that's why I've been using it every single time. And if you were to do a set of squats and you said supersets, bro, I want to get my quads so fired up, I'm gonna basically kill them, you do a set of Bulgarian split squats straight after. Like, Bulgarian split squats aren't enough by itself. You want to do another set right after a set of back squat. So you do that and you realize that you're so fatigued and you're so gassed and your central nervous system is so fried that when you actually do a set of back squat and you go to do the Bulgarian split squat, your brain and your body are going to spend more resources trying to actually survive through the Bulgarian split squat set than actually build muscle, because it's in such a fatigued state and the lactic acid has built so much that you probably end up vomiting, but you're just going to try survive. But for isolations, there is some leeway. Like, you could do a set of bicep curls and then do a set of preacher curls. But I would warn you, that second set, the preacher curls, probably won't be the most effective because you're going to be severely restricted in the amount of weight you can already use. Unless the intention going into the preacher curl set is I want to pre-exhaust my biceps. And this, first of all, would best be applicable when you're doing, for example, a compound exercise such as the bench. I changed it up this time. And when you go do the bench, throughout the whole movement, from touching down on your chest to getting halfway up where it's mostly pec dominant, you're able to do that smoothly. But going from halfway up to lockout where it's mainly tricep dominant, you struggle a lot. And so because your triceps are the weak point, but they're not getting enough stimulus from just benching, then what you could do is pre-exhaust your triceps by doing maybe a couple sets of tricep extension, and then go into your bench press set. That way your triceps are already pre-exhausted. They're the first ones that are gonna fail the set, which means after doing a set of that bench, the most stimulated muscle would be your tricep. But as you can see, this has probably blown your mind. Very advanced concept that only intermediates to advanced should use when they're actually trying to find weak points in their lifts. For most beginners and most people in general, you should mainly stick to antagonist sets, drop sets, and rest pause sets, and save you plenty of time in the gym. That's all, folks. May the gains be with you, and see you in the next one.